The Uhuru succession is a battle between the wealthy and the rich. And there's a difference between the two. Wealth you cannot squander in one generation. It takes generations to deplete. Riches you can burn in 1 year or in one election. Wealth is not money or assets. It's about culture, grooming, and schooling.
But riches are often acquired by men who call themselves self-made. And whenever you look at a man who says he is self-made, you are staring at the horrors of unskilled labor. If the Uhuru succession is a battle between wealth and riches, therefore, it is a battle between cultures. A battle between the groomed and the self-made. A battle between M-Pesa type of money and generational assets. Let us break this down.
In the beginning was Moi, and Moi was the president, and the president was Moi. Then on the nth day, Moi created his son Gideon in his own image. Gideon was created as a pedigree prince to succeed Moi. But then, in the beginning, there was also a man called Joshua Kule. J.C. Kule is one of the founding fathers of the Hustler Nation, alongside Njenga Karume, who started his journey to riches as a charcoal dealer.
J.C. Kule began as Moi's wardrobe manager. Mzee Moi had very expensive suits and Gucci ties, although most of his shoes looked like they had seen better days. The job of J.C. Kule was to take care of Moi's clothes. Before working for Mzee Moi, Kule worked as a prison warden. And using hustler methods, he rose through the ranks, from a prison warder to Moi's wardrobe assistant, and later to the powerful position of Moi's personal assistant. It is believed that J.C. Kule ran the country on behalf of Moi. That is how deep the bond of trust between Moi and Kule was.
Then came the Moi succession. Kule realized that he had no political vehicle to protect his businesses. And if Gideon was created to inherit Mzee Moi and protect his wealth, this protection was not guaranteed for Kule. If Mzee Moi created Gideon to protect the dynasties, J.C. Kule created William Ruto to protect the children of a lesser god, the hustlers. If President Moi created Gideon Moi in his own image, J.C. Kule created William Ruto in his own image. In fact, Kule created a whole brigade of young politicians in the Rift Valley and sponsored their elections. This is a project that Ruto has continued to nurture. It completely wiped out the Moi strongholds in Kalenjin politics.
In sum, this is how the Moi versus Kule political bloodlines were started. The Kule political bloodline, which is held by Ruto, is a rented line, which means that Ruto could not inherit Kule's wealth. And so Ruto had to begin creating his wealth from scratch, but with the patronage of J.C. Kule. Since Kule's wealth was not transferable to Ruto, he had to completely begin this wealth accumulation on his own. The only thing he got from Kule was the hustler methods. Because of this heritage, Ruto's lineage is that of riches, not wealth. Remember that riches can be squandered in one election, but wealth cannot be squandered for many generations. A lineage of riches is hungry and in a hurry, but it is also generous, embracing, and breeds like a rabbit.
If this kind of capital were a cow, it would be milked by everyone and it would graze everywhere. That is its operating logic. And this is the generosity that Ruto learned from J.C. Kule. If the Kule political lineage is rented, the Moi lineage is a natural political bloodline. If the only thing that Ruto inherited from Kule were the hustler methods, Gideon inherited wealth, networks, and culture from Mzee Moi. Gideon is a political thoroughbred. If Ruto is rich, therefore, Gideon is wealthy. If Ruto can burn his riches in one election, Gideon cannot exhaust his wealth in 2 generations. If Gideon Moi is a grain-fed politician, William Ruto is a grass-fed politician. But what does that mean for country? If the Uhuru succession is a fight between the wealthy and the rich, how must we choose?
And here are the choices. 1. A successor in the dynasty is born. Gideon Moi was born to succeed Moi. Uhuru was born to succeed Jomo. And Raila was born to succeed Jaramogi. If Uhuru attempts to make Raila president, it is because Uhuru comes from the same type of political lineage as Gideon Moi and Raila. He belongs to a lineage of wealth, not riches. He was born to inherit leadership, unlike Ruto, whose only inheritance was the hustler methods from Kule. Unlike the dynasties, a successor in the hustler nation is not born. A successor emerges. Anyone can become the leader of the hustler nation. It is the law of nature. Survival goes to the fittest. The man who leads the hustler nation is also the man who is the fittest amongst hustlers. The question before the nation, therefore, is this. If we choose the wealthy dynasties, our leader is already predetermined. He is already born. But if we choose the unrefined hustler path, anybody can become president so long as you are the fittest.
2. The way of the hustler is to breed like rabbits. And that is why Ruto has many political progenies. He has created politicians in his own image across the entire country. To the contrary, dynasties are stingy with their political seed. This is why Gideon has not reproduced himself politically. The same can be said of Uhuru Kenyatta. He has not reproduced himself politically. And this is because dynasties are jealous institutions. They do not bequeath leadership to outsiders. They will wait generations just to find a natural heir. The question to the nation, therefore, is this. Between the hustler method, where the leaders breed like rabbits, and the dynasty method, where the leaders are born by rotating the royal seed between wealthy families, which is better? What shall we choose?
3. And finally, the hustler culture is a sharing culture. It is generous to a fault. The hustler will breed like a rabbit. He is generous with his political seed. And if he becomes a millionaire, he will breed millionaires like a rabbit as well. This is why Mzee Kibaki, although a refined hustler, created the largest number of legitimate billionaires ever seen in Kenya. He did not hold back. Mzee Moi was also like that. But second-generation members of the dynasties are not like their fathers. They are stingy, suspicious, and downright mean. If Mzee Kibaki's ideology was that of creating wealth, their ideology is that of preserving wealth, and preserving it in the hands of a few. Since Uhuru became president, how many legitimate billionaires or even millionaires has he created? What about Raila and Gideon Moi? Which businessmen have they supported?
If the hustler culture is to breed millionaires and share, the culture of the dynasties is to keep the wealth within their inner circles. And the choice for the country is this: do we go for a system that will redistribute wealth and breed millionaires for the hoi polloi, or one that will preserve and entrench wealth in the hands of a few political families? Do we go for a system that will graduate rich people into wealthy people, or one that will oppress the rich with taxes and other inhibitions while entrenching the wealthy through political privilege? This is the Uhuru succession question.